Hello, hello.
Hello.
How is everything going?
It's going all right. What about you? I like your little guitar, ukulele. What do you have behind?
I mean
Yep.
that's a bunch of programming books, and it's like a small guitar. It's from it's like an ukulele. It's similar to an ukulele.
6 strings or 4?
4.
Okay.
I rather I was a guitar player for a long time, but now I only play this one because it's agile. I can just play with my family.
Yeah, and it's portable, not like the guitar, which is very cumbersome.
Yeah, that's true.
But
And my
did you
wife says that.
know?
Huh?
Sorry, did you know that there is another instrument which is called guitarlele? So it's the same size but 6 strings, same as the guitar, same tuning.
I didn't know.
My only suggestion is if you buy one, that I think you will, just try to buy one that has like the metal rod in the fret, so you can adjust to the lower tune, and you can use normal strings and normal tune.
Right. Same happens with the acoustic guitars. That if you buy one that, like the traditional Spanish guitar, that you cannot put metal strings.
No.
I actually broke a guitar once like that. That's how I found out about it. So it's 5:05. Should we get started or should we wait a little bit more for people to come?
Up to you. I have to say that I was very excited to see that we have this webinar. I saw that by chance like 2 days ago. I was currently trying to develop the same type of project for my portfolio.
Right.
So I'm actually looking forward to see what we are going to do today.
Amazing. Have you guys worked with Next.js before or no?
Just a few hours.
What about
Never.
Samantha? Yeah?
No, never.
Never? Okay.
Never. Never.
Yeah, so I guess while we wait for people, I can start explaining a little bit about Node.js, Next.js, my bad. I think it matters a lot because there's many options of doing a blog using JavaScript, even using React. There's plenty of options, and Next.js is the most popular one, I guess, but doesn't mean it's the right one always. Yeah, sometimes you don't want to kill an ant with a shotgun, basically, because that's what Next.js is. It's a shotgun. It's for everything, and it has plenty of. So let me go over a topic. I think the most important concept to understand is the difference between static generation, normal, and then server-side rendering. Like those are like 3 ways to approach how you do projects with React, how you do front ends with React. You guys know the difference between them or no?
I am not sure. So I think that normal would be a mixture of the two, or like we normally do with React. That actually the rendering is on client side with JavaScript, but server side is what I think Next.js provides us, which is actually the rendering. You do as if you were going to do with React, like render it on the client side, but it's actually rendered on the server. And then the other one is just from the client side, as you mentioned, I think.
Yeah, that's true. All of that's true. And then why would you say? Why do you think it's like, for example, when you build a website with React in general, you don't even think about it. If you just use plain React, it's not the best idea. I mean, just normal React, it's not the best idea. You have to always companion your React site either using static generation or server-side rendering. So what do you think is that?
I would say that is to optimize rendering and probably reduce charge or access times to the website, but I wouldn't know how to do it.
Right. Yeah. Actually, there are obviously there are workarounds for everything. Let me go behind the theory for a second so that we can start having a good discussion about it, and then we're gonna get to the code. I'm just gonna talk about like 5 minutes about this because I think it's an important thing to remember. Let me share my screen for a second. Okay, so here we are. So the way that websites work is that, and this is something that you have probably heard already, that you have a client and then you have a server. This is because we run HTTP, and HTTP is a protocol that says that everything you build, you would always have to ask from the client into a server, and then the server will answer the actual code for your website. Usually, the clients are ready to accept HTML, JS, and CSS. And this is because they have a browser. That's it. Actually, the laptop is not ready for that. It's the browser, the one that makes it be able to be ready for that. So a browser reads by default HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. It does not read PHP. It does not read Node. It does not read Python, like none of that. Like if a front end receives, or a browser receives a Python document, it will show the text as the actual Python code. That's what you will see. So that's a problem, right? It's a vulnerability. Like your website will be vulnerable because everyone will be able to see your code, your backend code. So backend code is supposed to be hidden from the front end. So the reason I'm explaining all of this is because initially there was no backend code at all. Like everything was HTML, JS, and CSS. So what people do is that they would have on the backend side, they would have a folder, a classic folder like my website, and then inside that folder, they would add files. And you could have, for example, the index.html. And actually, these people were scientists from the CERN Institute, and they were sharing discoveries from science. So instead of being an index, it could be something like, I don't know, like Hadron Collider experiment.html. That's what they would share. So people from the other side, let's say any other scientific that wants to get that information, they would actually type in the URL website/Hadron Collider. So that was a problem because I don't remember the name of that document. So what servers did, they said, okay, if you only type the folder name and you don't type the rest, I will create an index for you. And that index was just basically a list. So by default, servers have a default index. So Apache default index. And this is how it looks. Let me see if like this. This is how it looks. This is the standard index.html that you would see in a website back in the day. So, okay, so what happened? People said, okay, let's just replace that index with whatever we want, and then we can have a website that looks cool. And instead of you providing me a default index, I will have my own indexes. That's fine. So we have now the ability to do our own home site. Okay, cool. And then React came along and said, okay, but I'm going to generate that HTML using a virtual DOM. So instead of using the standard DOM from the browser, I'm going to use my own virtual DOM, because the standard DOM from the browser, or the standard way that the browser does things, is super slow. So React is optimizing that. So that's fine. But that's after. Like, that's what when the index already arrives into the client, when it arrives here, React starts doing that. But then Next.js says, you know what? No, I'm going to move it back into the backend. I'm going to move it into the backend, and I'm going to run React here. And what you're going to get, it's already the HTML. So you can think about it like you have an index.jsx that is React on this side, and an index.html on this side. And they are supposed to be the same thing, right? The right side will be React. So the code will be actual React code that has dynamic things, like, for example, I don't know, like people.map, and then if you have a bunch of people, then each person will be an li, let's say, an li document, an li tag, like p.name. So I'm just saying that in this code, I'm saying that I'm going to be listing all the people. I'm going to be listing all the people in li tags. So this is going to happen in backend. And then what arrives to the server is actually something like this. Now it's going to say here like Bob Dylan, whatever, Bob Dylan. And then it's going to have more than one, obviously, because there's supposed to be many people. Like, I don't know. And let's say, I don't know. Whatever. So there's the client, if you think about it, the client doesn't even know what happened. Like, it doesn't even know how this code was generated using this code. It doesn't know. And that's what we call server-side rendering. So server-side rendering is when you send the code already done. You don't allow the client to do it itself. You would tell the client, this is the code, that's it. So it's almost like the client doesn't know you're using JavaScript or React. He doesn't know. But obviously, not everything can be server-side rendered, because some of the things that you have in your website require user interaction to show. So for example, let's talk about a website that we all know that is the landing page for this particular workshop. This one. When you see this landing page, almost everything was generated in the backend. Almost everything, because this, I don't need any user interaction to display this. So I can just show it from at once. I don't need any user interaction for this. I don't need any user interaction for this part. Not for this part either. But I do need some user interaction to display this right side here. What do I need from the user to display the right side?
A click, a login.
A login, exactly. So I need to know if the current user is logged in or not in order to be able to show like the join button, or maybe an RSVP or a sign up or whatever. So some sections of your website can be server-side rendered, but some others cannot. Okay? The same happens with static site generation. The difference between server-side rendering and static site generation, it's when do you create this code? Like we already talked about, we already said that the idea is to generate this code and send it into the front end already. To use the code on the right to generate the code on the left, right? So now let's answer the question when. When. And this is the difference between server-side rendering and static site generator. So if you do it every time the website refreshes, so if every time the website refreshes, I will run the backend to generate this text again, then it's server-side rendering. But there's another approach that maybe I don't have to do it every time, because maybe my website is not going to change that much at all. It's going to be static like a blog. A blog doesn't change that much. So why not generating this code on the left as a document, and I'm gonna call it index.html. So now I have a document that it's called the index.html, and I am gonna grab this code and put it in my server here, and then whenever the front end asks again for the document, instead of running React again, since I already have this generated for me, I don't have to use React again. I can just send back the HTML that I already had. You can think about it like a cache memory. It's like I already have pre-made all these HTML documents using React, but I already made them, so I don't have to make them again every time you refresh. And that is static site generation. So one way of thinking about it is that static site generation, it's during deployment or during build time, but server-side rendering is during runtime. Like during runtime means on every refresh. So for me, this is a super important concept. I didn't want to start before explaining this because there's a difference. There's a big difference in the approach you take. Like for example, for Geeks decided that it's using static site generation here. This is static site generation. But if you go to another page, I don't know, like this one is static as well. But if you go to another page that varies more, like this one is server-side rendering. We are not statically generating this website, and it's because it changes often. So that it's not worth generating an entire HTML document and saving it on the server. It's better just to generate it all over again. And obviously there are trade-offs. Like for example, if this obviously static site generation is faster than server-side rendering, it's way faster. But it has the problem that you have to rebuild the entire site, because every time you deploy, remember that the magic word here is deploy. So every time your blog, every time you push to Git and do another Markdown, because we're going to create a blog using Markdown, right? So every time you create a new Markdown document, it will generate all the HTMLs again, all of them. So your build time, like the time that it takes for your website to publish, it's going to be longer, but the time that it takes for your website to show, it's going to be shorter. In this case, it's the opposite. If you decide to do it with server-side rendering, then it will build fast. But when you refresh, it will take some time for the server to generate all over the HTML again for that particular document, or for that particular path, or for that particular page. Any questions about that? Yeah, I'm not going to talk anything else. That's it. That's all I wanted to say about static versus. I mean, this is not an easy concept to grasp, but once you get it, that's it. Like this is all you need to know about the front end in terms of like generating websites or yeah. So let's just start, right? What I usually do, I'm gonna show you my process of learning and doing something new. The first thing I always do is that I would go to a quick start. I would put these two words in my Google query, and then whatever I want to do, right? So React, I would say now Next.js with Markdown blog. Another thing is that what are the alternatives to Next.js? The alternatives are Gatsby. That is pretty much the same if you think about it. Like if you're honest with what you're saying, with what you're doing, it's basically the same thing but an alternative. Instead of Vercel was the hosting website or the company that created Next.js. It's Vercel. I have an account, so it's logged in. But Vercel, this one, they are the creators of Next.js. They did it. And in the case of Gatsby was bought by Netlify. This guy. So these are competitors. And they both offer a free plan, so you can deploy your websites As long as they are front-end only, you will be able to deploy your websites. And good news, a blog with Markdown is front-end only. So Markdown and Next.js will be free. Your website will be free, and it will be extremely fast, and it will be the best site you can do in the world. Like, there is no better approach to do a blog today than using Markdown and Next.js. So you're going to be using the best possible stack of technologies. It's going to be super fast. Google is going to love it. Obviously, if you do a blog, it matters a lot how Google ranks you. And Google likes a lot using static sites or using server-side rendering. It likes it a lot. And then if you implement a cache layer on top of that, we don't have to talk about that today, but if you implement that, it's even better. Like, you're gonna hit 100% in the page speed for Google. Google has this called the page speed. You can put any site here, and it will rank that site in terms of speed and how well it was built. And this is actually a very important factor when Google ranks you in the results. So if you want to actually bring organic site traffic to your website, and you want people to see your website in the results of Google, you need a good page speed. So the good news is that if you're using Next.js, then you're probably having already, like, I don't know, 90% of the work already done. So yeah, let's go back to Next.js, and that's the framework we're going to be using. So I'm just going to get into the first official tutorial. I don't like blog posts right now. I want to get to the official one. So, like, for example, this one. So this is for configuration. Markdown, so that if people don't know Markdown, what is Markdown? Anyone knows what Markdown is? Okay, so I can just do a quick review on Markdown. Markdown is a format for writing. I think, if you ask me, I think in the future, writers are going to be using Markdown. It's a way of representing Word document elements. Like, for example, a heading in HTML, it's an H1. In Markdown is like this. A heading 2 is 2 of this. A heading 3 is 3 of this. So when you're building a document, if you write it in Markdown, it's pretty simple to write. It's way simpler than Word, because in Microsoft Word, you have to, like, choose if it's going to be a heading 1 or anything. Here it's faster. So you can use something like online Markdown editor. They're free. And like StackEdit, for example, you can start writing, and then you will see what you're writing here. So, for example, if I want to do a blog, then it's like, this is my blog title, and you can see here that I put one what's the name of this? Hashtag. Yeah, one hashtag, and then I just start typing whatever. And then if I want to have a list, I will just put hyphens like this. So let's say this is the item 1, this is the item 2. You see, and it looks better on the right side because it's interpreting all my Markdown. And then if you want to add a link, you would say, I don't know, this is a link that points to Google. And then the to Google part, I would just wrap it in square brackets and say https google.com. And that's it. That's how it knows that this link, these 2 words are pointing to Google. So on the right side, you can see that it's pointing to Google. So if I click on it, it will actually take me to google.com. So, and that's just Markdown. It's a very, very, very simple format for writing documentation or blog posts or anything, books in general. And it's pretty standard now. So my recommendation would be that everyone should know it. And if you go to github.com, GitHub already has default compatibility with Markdown. Actually, the school uses, the 4Geek school uses Markdown for absolutely the entirety of the content that we do. So, for example, for courses, look how many Markdowns we have. So actually, what we're building today is what 4Geeks has already. So look at all these Markdown files. All of these are Markdown files with explaining concept, like blog posts, right? Explaining concepts and stuff. And we did it with Next.js. Actually, we have a Next.js website that grabs these Markdown files from GitHub. So we don't even have a database. We get it from GitHub, and then we show it to the students. That's how we do it. Well, we have a database now, but it's more like for adding additional functionalities. But in general, that's how it works. So the architecture that we're building today is a. Let me go back to the diagram that we were building. The architecture that we're building today, it's basically a. How do I delete here? Like that. Yes. Okay, so the architecture that we're building, it's going to be, we're going to have a folder. Let's say that we can call this blog. And in this folder, we're going to put a bunch of Markdown files. Oops. We're going to put a bunch of Markdown files here. So let's call it my first blog post.md. They have to end in the MD because it's Markdown. And then my second blog.md. So we have these two files, and what Next.js is going to do, it's going to scan this folder for us, and for every single Markdown that it finds, it will generate a website for that. So it's going to say, okay, blog. So let's say, like, for example, I don't know, 4geeks.com/blog/ and then the name of the file that is this one, it's going to become your URL. So I'm going to put it at the end here. That's going to be one of my blog posts. And then the second blog post that I'm going to be having published is this one. So for every single Markdown file, we're going to have a matching blog post published on the internet. So this will be my second blog without the word post, because that's how it was done here. So yeah, that's the architecture that we're going to end up having. We're not going to have a database. Okay, so cool. So let's do first the quick start for Vercel. So products, AI, Fluid, Next. Here's Next. And then we're going to, I don't know, start deploying maybe? No, I don't want to start deploying. I want to hit the quick start. So let me see if there's Resource Center template guides. Next. Oh my God. Let me just say Vercel, Next.js, quick start. Getting started perfectly. Yes. So they're saying here that we have to add Node 18. My question to you guys have Node installed on your computer? You can do thumbs up if you have it.
Yes.
Thumbs down if you don't have it. We can use reactions too. Okay. So if you have Node, I would recommend, by the way, I find out the other day about a way to download Node that it's better than what you already have in your computer, probably. And it's not this one. For some reason, it's using NVM, but this one, FNM. This is so cool because I can let me make it bigger, like that. I can have multiple versions of Node. So I can say, for example, Node -v, and this will tell me that I have Node 16. But if I have also FNM, so FNM means, I don't even know what it means. I think it's Fast Node Manager, something like that. Let me see, FNM Node. It means, yes, Fast Node Manager. So Fast Node Manager it's for having, you see, I don't have the version that they're asking me to have. They're asking me to have at least 18 or later. So this is a real problem in coding. It's a big problem. If you don't care about this, you're going to have a miserable life. So don't have a miserable life and care about this. So you do FNM. If you install FNM in your computer, that it's very simple to install, then you can say, for example, FNM. Let me see if I have FNM. FNM or Fast. I don't have it. I thought I had it. No, I have it in, because that's for Windows. Yeah, I have it in a virtual machine that I have for Windows, but I do have NVM. Let me see. Help. I have an alternative version. It's called NVM, but it's the same thing. So I can just choose. For example, I can say here, NVM use 20, and it will allow me to switch. And now I'm using version 20 of Node. You see? So I'm able to switch versions. And this is really important because if you start your blog in version 20 and tomorrow you have version 22, then it may or may not work. So you want to have several versions at once in your computer, because maybe your blog needs to run in version 20, but another project that you have needs to run in version 22. But let's just continue. So now that I have the version 20 that is better than 18, I'm going to continue with this one. So what we're going to do is that we're going to do the exact steps that are given to us here. npx create next app. If you guys have a question, just ask. I will stop and answer it. Like, for example, if you don't know what npx is, we can talk about that, but we don't have to. So npx create next app latest. So this is a command to create. Oh, wait a minute. I want to know in which folder I am because I don't want to make a mess. So I'm not in the right folder. I'm going to get into my documents. Here I am. That's it. Well, maybe code. I want to get into code. Okay. And then here I'm going to say npx create next app latest. So now we are in the code folder. I'm going to go ahead and create a new Next.js application. My project is going to be named just another blog. Invalid for your name. It can only contain URL-friendly characters. Oh, yeah. I cannot put spaces. So I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to say just another blog. And then I think I have a misspell here. Just another blog. Oh, my God. I cannot have capital letters either. Let me just remove those capital letters. Would you like to use TypeScript? No. I don't want to use TypeScript right now because it's going to make my code more complicated, and I don't want to focus on that. ESLint? No. I don't want to have any regulations either. I want to have someone telling me what to do. Tailwind? Well, maybe. Yeah. I don't even know about Tailwind that much, to be honest, but I will use it because we have AI to help us. So if I have any questions about Tailwind, I will just ask AI to help me. Would you like your code inside a source directory? Yes, I would strongly recommend that you always put your code inside a source directory. So what that means is that your project will have always a source folder, and in your source folder, that's where you put your code. Why am I saying this? Because remember, you're also going to have a blog folder now. You're going to have a blog folder with all your Markdown files. So you want to separate in a very organized way your code from your actual content. So you're going to have another folder here. It's going to be called source. And then here you're going to put your coding files, like, for example, I don't know, index.js, whatever. I don't know the particular structure that we're going to be using until I have it. So yes. Would you like to use app router? Yeah, this is because Node Next.js for a long time used another way of using pages. So they recently, like a year ago, they switched to a new way of doing things. So when you have such a major change, the community resists, like humans. Humans don't like changes. So app router is a new way of doing things, and people probably still choose no because they don't want to learn new things right now. I'm in a rush or whatever. Everyone is always in a rush. I'm gonna say yes because why not? Would you like to use TurboPack? I have no idea what TurboPack is. If you guys know what it is, maybe you can tell me, but I don't know what it is. So I'm just gonna say no.
It's a quicker compiler.
Which?
Normally it should run faster.
Oh, so it's not like Vite or Vite?
I wouldn't know.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I already choose no, so I guess I will not have a quicker compiler. I would recommend choosing yes. Why not? But I already choose no. Would you like to customize the import alias by default? This is so specific questions. No, I don't want to customize it. That's it. Thank God, no more questions. So let's just continue and wait for it to generate all the folders. Ideally, the reason I say about killing an ant with a shotgun is because all these folders that it's going to create, all I want to do is a simple blog. It's asking so many things and adding so many packages into the project. It's not even telling me what it's doing. There you go. It's done. So I can just get into my folder, cd, just another blog. Or another thing you can do if you have VS Code. You guys have VS Code? You can thumb up. VS Code is my recommendation. So you can just say code and then the name of the folder. Just another blog. And then it's going to open VS Code in that folder. You can also have Cursor. If you guys know about Cursor, Cursor is a fork. So it's a copy of VS Code that has an AI tutor that will help you a lot. But VS Code also has an AI tutor now. So my next recommendation would be to get into this little icon here called extensions and immediately install Copilot, please. Copilot. So Copilot has two extensions, GitHub Copilot and GitHub Copilot Chat, I think is the other one. Yes. And these two extensions we're going to be using. And they're free, by the way. They were paid about 2 months ago, but Microsoft released all of it, and now it's free. So 100% recommended. Use Copilot, please. I'll be using it. I know I will. Okay, so once you have installed Copilot, you go back to the files here on the left, and you have all the files that were generated by Node. This is all generated by Node. You see how we're killing an ant with a shotgun? We have so many folders already that I don't even know what they mean. And then on the right side, you have Copilot. Okay, so if you click here on the top right, you have Copilot. And this is important because, for example, you can do things to it that are super cool. Like, for example, you can hit here in this clip button, and then you would hit code base, and then you can tell, for example, how should I start this project? I want to build a Markdown-based blog site. And then it will start looking at my code base, because I said on the clip, when I press on the clip, I chose code base. So that's why it knows about the entirety of my code, and it can start recommending. Okay? Here's the proposed directory structure for an Next.js Markdown-based blog site. So it's already telling me. I think it's making some mistakes here, because I don't have a pages directory. So that's the problem, because we're using the new way of routing in Next.js that doesn't have pages. So that's the problem with sometimes using AI. It's not updated with the latest, but we'll see. So let's move on to the next step here before getting into 100% AI-based approach. Create a root layout. Yeah, so now it's telling me to create the main layout that it's going to be in the app folder. So let's talk about these folders here on the left. You see how I have already that. This is the main layout. So let's talk about this structure for a second. This is just a bunch of images, so I'm not going to talk about them. But then you have the favicon that I don't care about either. It's just an icon that for the site. And then you have page, layout, and globals. So globals obviously is your CSS that it already brings Tailwind, that it's a library for like creating layouts for easily. What is that? It's an alternative to Bootstrap, that it's more like old school way of doing styling. And then you have page.js, that will be your main page. And then you have layouts. Actually, we should run this already to see if we're going to say now npm run dev. And let's see if we can run our site. Here it is. Get started with editing. Yeah, it's running. You can see it's running in localhost 3000, and it's telling me already what to do next. It's telling me to modify the source app page.js, that this will be my. So I'm going to put this on the right side so that we can have it permanently as a preview of our site on the right side. There you go. And then on the left, I'm going to have the VS Code. Cool. So if I make any changes into the page.js, you'll see that it's going to change instantly. So you see how it says here, save and see your code changes instantly. Okay. This is the same as on the right side here. Save and see your changes instantly. So let me make this bigger. There we go. So I'm just going to change the Y with another Y and save. And now you see that it's instantly updated here on the right. So that's cool. I have my blog site working. So now, if we want to add Markdown to it, let me first ask the AI how it will approach adding the Markdown to it. So I'm going to create a folder post like it said here. There you go. So a folder called posts. And then I'm going to add my first markdown.
It's inside source, isn't it?
Yeah, that's how it was done here. But you don't have to. You can override that behavior. But I don't want to override it right now. Maybe we can override it later. But yes, it did it inside the source. Another thing that is important is that if you hit here on the top right in this little zoom icon, you can have the same experience that we were having for editing the Markdown document. So if we have here like a heading, it will show on the right with the style already done. So the same experience for creating Markdown live, we have it here. Item 1, item 2. So that's it. That's my first blog post. Or maybe we can just tell, yeah, I think it's better. Let's tell the AI to do it for us, like a legit blog post. I'm gonna tell the composer on here on the right, I'm gonna tell it, write a blog post about how to add Markdown to my Next.js site using app router. It's gonna create a Markdown file for me, a blog post explaining all of that. So that's crazy, right? That I can generate my own tutorial for this. And then I'm going to accept, and let's just start reading it. So how to add a Markdown to Next.js site router. Step 1, install the required package. Yes, we have to install this. So these packages, I've used them a lot. These are amazing packages, Remark and Remark HTML. This is a library that is the one that is going to interpret your Markdown. And it has super cool features that we're going to see later. But for now, I'm just going to install them. And you have to, when you install a package, remember to put minus save so that it saves into your package.json. So that's it. I installed npm install, gray matter, remark, minus save. And if you double check on your package.json, you're going to see them now here in your dependencies. It's remark and remark HTML. Okay. Next step. Gray matter is used to parse the front matter from, the front matter. So, Luis, do you know what the front matter is or no?
No.
So the front matter is the meta information about the blog. So for example, if we want to have like a status for the blogs where I can have a draft blog and then a published blog, you can do that in the top here with hyphen, and then status. And then you say here, for example, draft. And that means that this blog post is a draft right now. I came up with this. So Next.js doesn't know about the status yet. We're going to have to implement the feature for drafting. But right now, all you have to know is that when you put hyphen, and then you do it again, whatever you put in the middle should be a bunch of key value fields like status, title. You can also put like date, the date that the post was created, whatever. As long as it's key value formatted, it's going to work. And this is called the front matter. The front matter is, you can think about it like meta information about your blog. So that's it. We're going to have the status. And then gray matter is used to parse the front matter from Markdown files. That's cool. Then create a Markdown file and create a new directory called posts in your project root. You see, in this tutorial, they're not putting in the source. They're putting in the project root. So I'm going to put it in the root. I'm going to move it into the root. So now it's in my root. I have source app, and then I have post outside. Cool. They already have like an example one. We also have an example post, and then create a function to fetch the Markdown information. Okay, so let's talk about this function. They're putting it in lib posts. So let me do that. I'm going to create a folder called lib. And then I'm going to create, oh my God, this is not a folder. Give me a second. New folder, lib. A file. I already have a file like that, so I had to delete this one. And then new folder, lib. There you go. And then I have to add this file here. So let's talk about this file for a second. New file, posts.js. Okay. So what this is doing, as you can see here, is that it's reading the actual Markdown information. So this line of code here is the key of everything. So get post data is a function in JavaScript that will get the file name, and from the file name, it will build a URL to find the post that you can see that it's in the post directory. So it's saying that it's in the same directory as the current working directory, but in the folder post. So I think we're okay, because the current working directory will be the directory where we actually run where we did this command here, where we did npm run dev. The directory where we run npm run dev, that is the current working directory. So if you do pwd here, you can see that it's this one. It's users, Alejandro, document, code, just another blog. So it's adding the folder post into this directory. So we're properly positioned, because if you think about it, here is just another blog, and then immediately after that it's posts. So if we had it in source, it was not going to work. But now that you have it in post, it's going to work. So it's going to retrieve the Markdown from there. And then this matter thing, it's from gray matter. So it's going to retrieve the from matter. You see how it's getting data and content? I think it should be data content. It should be status, because that's what we put here in the front matter. We added a status. So I'm just going to retrieve it from the front matter here. And then I'm going to pass it along, right? So status. Let's see if this works, man. Okay, next. Create a Markdown file. We already did that. Then create a page to display the Markdown content. Okay. So now create an app in the page directory. We don't have a page directory, I think. What we have is a page.js. So
it's possible that you deleted the folder.
No. It's because it's using the new router, the app router. So I'm gonna ask here. Following this step, you can easily add Markdown support to your Next.js using the app router. I'm gonna say here, what if I'm not using the app router? But if I'm not using the app router, update the blog post to include instructions for users not using the app router. Create a Markdown file. So it's doing the new blog post for me. This remains the same. Then it's creating the page in the page directory. So I don't have a page directory. So I'm just going to say, I don't have a pages directory. This is what we need to do. We need to create a custom route in our Next.js application. So here in the, for example, create a file called slug.js in your app directory. So we're going to do that. I'm going to create it. I'm going to call it slug.js. And then this is going to do the magic. So let me add it here. Let me copy this. This is the copy button here. And then I'm going to paste it here. So let's talk about this file here. So this file is grabbing. This function is a standard function from Next.js. It's a function that Next.js uses to get information from properties that were passed to the server, right? So in this case, it wants to get the slug, and this word here, slug, has to match this word here on the left, app slug. So if I rename this to, I don't know, blog slug, then here I have to put blog slug. But do you know what a slug is, man, or no? The word slug. Do you know the word slug or no? I can just tell you. The word slug is an identifier. So we use the word slug. It's a synonym of like ID. But instead of being a numerical ID, it's a string ID. And when you have a blog, we talk a lot about the word slug because the slugs are like this is a slug, for example, this one here. My first blog post is a slug because no other post can have the same slug. So it's like an ID, if you think about it. And the reason we call it slug is because it comes from the URL. Usually URLs end up having a unique thing at some point. Like, for example, if you go to a website blog, it will be website/blog/ and then the slug. And that's what the param slug is here. So it's getting the param slug and then it's trying to look for here, get post data. And then get post data is the previous library the previous function that we built from lib. Let me delete this for a second. Okay, and then we're gonna delete this one again. Okay, and here we're here. So we created a file called posts. Here it is, lib posts. So here it is, lib posts. It's bringing that function that we created ourselves. That it's called get post data that will fetch the information from the markdown, and then when it fetches that information, it will grab the content from there. So we have to return from this file in post.js. We should be returning. Let's see. Let me make it bigger so that we can see it on the screen. Okay. So you can see here that we are returning data, status, and content. And here we're grabbing that content, and then we're creating using the remark library that grabs a markdown and converts it into an HTML. We are actually converting the markdown into an HTML magically here, and then this will become now an HTML, and that HTML is being passed to Next.js. And then here it's being put using React. This property here, dangerously set inner HTML, it's what grabs an HTML string and puts it into the div, into any div. So this should work. Let's see if this works. Maybe it doesn't, but we'll see. npm run start, run dev. And now let's see on the right side if we can put the slug that we are looking for. So slash, and then my blog is my first blog post. So I'm just gonna rename this to copy and then paste it on the right side, enter. Yep, it didn't work. Look. So on Next.js is telling me why it didn't work. So let's put it back here a little bit to the right. It's not working, but whatever. Okay, so it's telling me here that it's a 404. So it didn't find my first blog post. Even though we do have a slug like this and we have a route. So maybe we're missing the route. Let me see. Page, it's not page. I'm just gonna delete this because I want to make it bigger. So this is working, but let me see. This page here is the one that is not working. So I'm just gonna talk to the AI for a second and say, let me see. Let me start a new chat and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna add into the AI context, I'm gonna add this file, but I'm also gonna be adding all the relevant files that I think are important. So posts is the other one. And then I'm gonna say, how can I route the request to Next.js like this, slash my blog post slug to render using the slug.js file. And let's see. To To route a request and render using slug, you need to ensure that the slug file is placed under the pages directory. Yeah, but I don't have a pages directory. So I'm just going to create it and see what happens. Pages. Update the import file. Enter your function correctly defined. Okay, let me see that. I'm just going to do here. New folder. By the way, I have here page. New folder, pages. And let's put it inside pages. I don't think this is going to work, but I have to try it. Okay, import from slug? Yes. And then I'm going to do it again. I'm going to put it here in source. Well, let me leave it in pages for a second and see what happens. So I'm going to do localhost 3000. Okay. And now I'm going to put slash my first blog post. It's still not working. And you can see iteration failed because the server HTML didn't match the client. As a result, this tree, blah, blah, blah. And then here you can see a 404 all over again. So it's not working. So let me move pages to the source and see if that works. This is another attempt. We'll see. Okay. And then try again. Still not finding it. It's the confusion about the new router. Oh, look, it worked. Yeah. So when you put the word pages, when you put the folder pages, it does work now. So it is retrieving and building an HTML. You can see here. It is actually building the HTML. So how do I know that it's building the HTML? Well, because it looks exactly how it was supposed to based on the Markdown. And it's not showing the front matter. The front matter is in the top. So it's not showing it. So that would be the first thing, right? But now we have a problem that it looks super ugly. So we want to add some syntax highlighting, for example. We want the code to highlight properly. So let me add some syntax highlighting right now. So I want to add syntax highlighting to my slug.js file. So there's a library called rehighlight. I have used this library as well. So we're going to install that package. Remember to put -- save so that it saves as a dependency. And then we're going to understand this. This is all the same. There's no changes here. It's adding here the plugin. So it's importing it and adding it. So we're going to do that. And this is all about remark. So the way that this library remark works is that once you call the function remark, then you have to add whatever you want to, like plugins. These are like plugins. It's like you're enhancing the library. So now, because I said .use HTML, then it's able to generate HTML. But now I'm saying use rehighlight. So it's also able to detect JavaScript code, Python code, like any code, and highlight it. So I have to import it and then use it as a plugin here, .use. And I think that's it. Maybe I have to import some CSS. Yeah, here it is. So let's do that. It's just importing it. That's all it's doing. So I'm just going to import it in my slug.js here. Let's see if I can just import it here and it's going to work. Hopefully it works. Let's see this. Let me stop it and run it again. Oh, no, my bad. Oh, it's here, this one, my bad. Okay, npm run dev. And then let's see if it's highlighting now. It could be highlighting, but we don't know because we don't know if the Markdown is specifying the language. So let me try that. I'm going to specify. Yeah, it is specifying the language. So one of the tools that Markdown has is that you can put code and you can put these three little like quotes and then the actual language that you're going to be explaining in your blog post. And then that's how it knows how to highlight it. So you can see here that it's putting 3 dots and then JavaScript. So that means this block of code in my Markdown blog post is going to be highlighted as JavaScript. But it's not working right now. So I want to actually see why is it not working. So the first thing I'm going to see is that I want to see if this is being recognized as a block of code. If I expand, I'm going to be able to see the HTML that was generated by the library. Here it is. It says code, and then it says language JavaScript. So this is perfect. This is actually recognizing my block of text or Markdown as code, and then it's applying a class language JavaScript to it. So that's all good. I think what's not working is the styling. So this styling here, github.js, maybe it's not working. We're going to have to check about that. This without syntax identity. For example, you can add it to the following to your app and the global CSS file. Component page prop. So maybe I have to do this. Maybe I have to create the entire component to inject but I don't think so. Yeah. Why don't I do it through? No. I'm going to do it the right way. Page props or another highlight.js theme. So for some reason, this highlight, let me put the wrong import and it gave me an error. So that's good. It is recognizing my import, but for some reason, it's not applying any styles. Let me see if there's like an actual CSS file being used here. I don't see any CSS being imported. So I added, I'm going to say here, I added the import into my slug.js, but it's not importing the CSS. But I don't see the styles, but I don't see the styling on my website. Let's see. To ensure that the syntax are applied, you need to make sure the CSS file is being properly corrected. Here's a few steps. If you have a global file, ensure that CSS is loaded globally. Make sure the CSS for syntax is loaded globally. You can do that importing in your app file. Okay, so I don't know. I'm gonna paste it in somewhere else. Maybe it doesn't work if I do it in slug. Let's do it in page here. But I don't think it's gonna work in page. Yeah, and then I'm gonna stop this and import it again. But I don't think it's gonna work. Let's see. I don't have an underscore app.js. Okay, so apparently I do have to create this. It's the only way. Let's see. I'm gonna create it. Underscore app.js. Then I'll paste this here. I don't have any global styling. Or I do maybe. Oh yeah, I do have a global styling. So where's that being imported? Here. Oh, so I think that's better. Yeah, I'm just gonna import it in the. Before doing this, I'm gonna import it in the layout. In the layout. Let's see. And then I'm gonna delete this app.js. Let's see if this works. Nothing, man. It's so horrible. It's not working. Let me just add a style of my own. I'm gonna inspect this again, and then this class language script, I'm gonna add a style that it says all the language scripts are gonna have a background. It's going to be red, whatever. Is it working? Nope. Okay, so I think I understand what's happening. Like this page log, it's not really like communicating with any of my other files. It's not using any of this. That's crazy. Let's see now. Look, it works. Cool. So now I do have some styling, but now it looks black. Okay, let me try something else. Let me try. I'm going to remove from the global this language script. And I think this is the actual styling from GitHub. Let me see. It's ugly and horrible, but let me see if it's the styling from GitHub. And I think it is. Yeah, look, it's applying all these styles to the code blocks. I don't actually like that styling. If you want to change the styling from highlight, you can download it from highlight.js. And here you're going to find a bunch of styles. This is the library, highlight.js. So here are the themes. You see, we're using the GitHub one. But let's try this one, Atom. Atom is pretty popular. So I'm going to try Atom 1 Dark. I'm going to assume that it exists by default. The Atom 1 Dark. So let's see if I can do that one. Atom 1 Dark. So instead of GitHub, it's going to be Atom 1 Dark. So let's see if we don't get an import error. No import error. So that means it works. So let's see now how it's been styled. It's the same thing. So I don't think the styling is properly working. Let me remove the. Oh my God! I added in the wrong file. It's supposed to be in this one. It's in this one. Is it better now? Or is the same thing? I think it's the same thing. Yeah. It's not being imported. So before I move on, do you think this is the priority that we should be doing right now, styling the CSS, the code from the Markdown, or you think there's anything else that we should be doing? Like, for example, if we add another blog post, it should work already. Like my first blog post, and this will be my second blog post. Maybe we should be deploying. Let's see, my second blog. Yep, there it is. It is working, my second blog. So maybe we should be implementing like a home site where all the blogs show up. And for that, we're gonna have to do another library here in the posts. That is gonna be like get all posts, like implement get all posts function that loops the entire post folder and returns an array of all the blog posts found with the front matter included. So there it is. There's this one. So now in this function, we're getting all the posts. So we can use that in our main page, right? So we can say here, we can say import source app No. Import like from lib posts import, or it's the other way, right? It's import. Yeah. Import get all posts from this guy. There you go. And then here we can just say another code to list them all, right? So here we're going to say use the get all post function to list the blog posts. And there you go. Let's see. It's probably going to give an error. Yeah, well, this cannot be done here. It has to be done here. Yeah. This is probably going to be an error because it doesn't know the title and the excerpt of the blogs. Let me see if it knows. Yeah, that's it. Like, it doesn't know the. So what we're going to do is that we're going to have to actually make those properties in order to use them. So title and excerpt, these two. So here in our get all posts, you know how we're getting here data, status, and content. So the blog posts are going to have now a title, because if they don't, then it's going to give an error. So we're going to actually have to add a title in here, or we can do it automatically by detecting the first H1 inside the formatter. But I think that's too cumbersome right now, so I would rather just this. I'm going to call second router blog post. And there we go. Let's see if it works. What are we seeing here? A dev with 2 posts. Look, here they are both, but it's not showing up the title and the description. So we're almost there. So let's, in this, maybe it's because I need to also do title and excerpt. Let's see if it works. Oh, well, I have to pass it along. Title and excerpt. Let's see if it works. Still not being passed, but that's fine. We're almost there. So here's passing the entire slug data. I want to see what I'm getting here from the get all post. So console.log posts. And let's see what we get. Here's what we're getting. Look, this is the actual information we're getting from the get all post function. So we're getting slug and then data. So these properties from the formatter are being passed as data. So it's post.data. So I'm going to put post.data, the title, post.data.excerpt. And then we don't have to do what we were doing before in the library here. It's not title and excerpt like that. It's going to get passed. It's going to get passed as data. So yeah, this should work. There you go. How to add a markdown to your, and then this is the second post. Obviously, it's not displaying in a nice format. So for now, it would be just like adding formatting into our main page. So instead of a div, I would suggest doing an li because it's a list. And then I will also wrap it in a UL, right? Like a UL that starts and finishes here. So that's better formatting. There you go. Two blog posts. And if we want to implement an anchor to take the user to that particular blog post, so we can do it as well by putting an anchor here. And then in the href, we're going to say that it's going to be slash, and then we add here dynamically. We add slash $ post.data.slug, I think it is. Or it's just post.slug, I think. Let's see if it works. So this is an actual anchor. Yes, and it works. Look, it's taking me to the first blog, and then this is taking me to the second blog. and that's how we have like a list of the blog posts. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think obviously we can keep playing and playing and adding more features, but I think we have like a solid foundation on the blog. The next steps for me, I think, should be more about how I make sure that these blog posts are in compliance with Google, so that you have like all the, when you're doing a blog, it is really important that you're following the SEO best practices for blog posts. So that will basically mean that each post that you do has to have the what we call the schema.org. Schema.org. So the schema.org is like a way to specify to Google information about your blog so that Google can validate it properly. So here you will see that you have a blog post. Here it is. So here's like what is specified for a blog post. Give me a second because I want to get the schema from a blog post. This is an event, career, work, movie, recording, type, recipe, audio, image, object, event, health, person, place, product review, restaurant, action. Where's the one for blog post? Like they have so many types. Book, movie, medical entity. They have all these schemas, but where's the blog post? Or article, maybe. Article. Here it is. So this is a schema that you need to follow for. So for example, you could ask the AI now, how do I implement schema.org to add article schema? And let's see what we get. So here it is. It is adding this script tag here. And this is what you need to put into your website. It's using a plugin called this head component here. It's imported from Next.head. So this is a way that Next.js has to modify your head tag from HTML. So this is mandatory to have a head tag. And then in the head, you put a script. And then this script contains the information about your blog, like your actual blog title. So this is JavaScript, right? So you can just add here a reference to post.data.title. You would put it into your object that you're creating here. So you would just copy paste this here, and we would be able to put it in our here, look, like this. Well, no, this is the index site. So not in this one, but in the actual blog post in here. No, not in here, my bad. In the actual blog post that it's. Yeah, it is this one, my bad. So yeah, it's this one. So here, you would add an actual head tag here. And then obviously you close it at the end like that. Yes. So now we just added the schema.org. And this is important for Google SEO optimization. But obviously we would replace this with our actual blog. So here will be like, what's the name of it? It's postdata.title. Yeah, that's how it is. So you can see now that if we refresh and we're in a blog site, well, I didn't import the head, my bad. So let me import it from Next. Here, head. So that's it. And then if I refresh, you're going to see here that it's adding in the head of my site. It's adding the actual, here it is, the schema information about the blog post with the actual title of the blog post. That it's somewhere here, the title. It is somewhere here. Here it is, headline. It's called headline. It's this one. How to add Markdown to your Next.js site. This is our blog post. So that's it. If you have any questions, Luis?
I do have, but it's going to be too difficult to ask them. So I will review the video and I will take some time to do that by myself.
Yeah, I think I went too fast, right?
It's not that you went too fast. Speed is okay. It's difficult to follow if you are doing on the side, which is what I am doing right now.
Yep.
The problem that I had is when you created the Slack, you used the AI that was too fast for me, and there I got lost. And
Yeah, this page,
later,
right? This
yeah,
page.
I have it now. I have the Slack. I have the router working because the blog is working, but I haven't been able to load the Markdown yet.
Well, if you want, you can share the screen, and that's how we end the workshop with a nice fixing of a bug. I would love that.
Okay, I don't mind doing it.
This is being recorded, so I do like to have a great recording.
Okay, let's go. Let me share my screen. I just need a moment. Okay, so I will put this here. Because I don't want to share a big screen, because otherwise I'm going to kill the format. And now to share the screen here, I'm going to share all the screen, this screen, comparting. And now I should be able to recover the Visual Studio Code. So this is the packaging. This we don't need. I don't think we need this. This two of the posts example. We'll get back to that later. And and I should probably.
You know what's curious? That you're using a different library than I am using. I'm using Remark, and the recommendation that your AI gave to you was using React Markdown. That is a different library, but that's fine. Both of them work.
Actually, I think I have both installed. I just installed this one because I didn't think too much about it. But actually, we can check that. I have.
Yeah, you do have Remark. But we can keep using React Markdown and see how it goes. It's okay. Both work. So what's the current issue you're having?
Well, my current issue is this one.
It's not finding your post. That's cool. Okay, let's just go back and look at the file giving you this error is probably the file that is trying to get this one right here that you have in front of you. Let me see. Scroll down. Yeah, this one that you're saying get static paths in the line 24. So this function right here is the one trying to find the actual file. So you see how in line 25 we're saying read directory sync. Read dir sync. That's the function you're using. You see that?
No, I'm lost. I'm 24. But...
25.
Okay, 25.
In 25, you see read.
Yes, I see now.
That's a function that reads a directory. So you are telling the computer to read the directory posts, but
no, that's not okay. Because we should go to either blog. It's not in public.
You have another one called post inside app.
Yes, I think it's looking for this one.
No, but that's a JS file. Yes. Don't worry that much about JS files. Worry about Markdown files. This is where you're fetching for the Markdown files.
Yes, so this is the folder in which I have them.
That's the one you want, right? So why don't you show me in your current file that you have opened already, show me the variable path. Where's that variable coming from? Oh, that's a library. Wait a second. Yeah, so
path
that's the
from path.
Yeah, look at the problem that you have. Look at the problem that you're having. You are telling Node.js to read the directory posts, but you're not giving a full directory.
Yeah,
you should be giving a full directory, not like a partial directory. So let's do something. Do Command I or Control I.
Okay.
What's that Q? Is that same as Copilot?
I
don't know what that is. Like, don't do that then. Right click on that line. Right click on that line. And then you see where it says Copilot in the menu? The editor in line. Yes, that one. Okay, and say rewrite this line to look for a blog folder on my project root. There you go. There you go. That's it.
Oh
Save
my
it.
God. I love when this happens. Okay,
Now,
let me
now I
update
have it
my.
all done. So accept that. You hit the button, the blue button, accept.
Okay.
And now let's read this line, okay? Because this is not magic. This has some issues right now. This has issues, so you have to read it. So you see how it's saying, okay, I want to join a bunch of. It's creating a path for you, like an entire path. It's saying from the current working directory, I want to get into the source folder, and then into the pages folder, and then into the blog folder. And that's not true.
No, because we are actually outside.
Yeah, so you want to remove
Everything.
source and pages, and you want to keep blog. Yep, and save it, and let's see if it works.
Okay, so
it's already saved. So just go back and refresh to your page. I think you only shared one.
Yes.
So that's it. It's better, right?
I don't really know if it's working actually.
Well, but
if supposedly
no, but you're in the index right now.
Yes. And this is the index plus the slack, or maybe wait. Better. Yes. Well, I think
type the name of a Markdown file.
This one.
Wait, look. It's trying to look for portfolio web posts example.md. Do you have an example.md on that post folder?
No, but I will put right away.
Mm-hmm.
Because actually we shouldn't be looking.
You do have it right there. Look, example.md.
Yes, I know, but it's here. It's in a different folder. So it's
that's not a different folder. That is the right folder. You know what the problem is? That the current working you have like a you have a mess right there because you have like a nested portfolio web. So I think that's an issue because you are running the project from a different folder. Can you stop running your project for a second?
I will do that.
Let me see where we're at. Yes.
So that was node, no, pw. What was the command for that?
It's just npm run dev. So, but look, wait, before you do that, look how it says Desarrollo web, proyectos, portfolio web, portfolio web. So that's where you're at right now, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes, here.
Okay, run the server again. npm run dev. It's running. So now go back and refresh. Wait, there's an error. Look. It says scroll up.
Okay, yes.
There. It says no such file or directory, desarrollo web, proyectos, proyecto, post example. You see how it says posts? It's like it's a different place. You have another thing that is looking for posts.
Yes, that's what I mentioned. That we are not looking for blog. It's like maybe. Well, I think now. Okay, maybe.
There you go. It's 941.
Yes, we need to copy the previous line here.
Yes, copy 25.
Okay.
No, but you have to delete the entire line. It's from delete 40, 41, 42, and 43. Yes. There you go. Okay, run it again. Stop and run again in the terminal. Oh, no. One more thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing the UTF-8. Go back, do Control-Z so that we can see the previous code. Do it again, Control-Z. Wait. So you see how it has a comma UTF-8? I think we should do that as well. Like, put a comma UTF-8 at the end. That's an important step.
Okay, so here.
Also, another thing is you're fetching a file here, and you're not fetching an entire directory. You're fetching a file, so you have to put at the end the actual file name. So yeah, exactly. Copy that and paste it after blog. So you're gonna put comma after blog. Yes. I think that's it. Yeah. Now you can delete the line, the 40, 41, and 42.
In process.
That line as well. The last one, the 40, you should delete it as well. Okay. And then you're not gonna call it files. You're gonna call it Markdown with meta. In line 41, you have to rename. In the line 41, you have to rename the word files.
I still don't see.
It's at the beginning, yeah. There you go. So that may be working. We'll see.
We'll see. So we need to run it again. I do have TurboPack.
That's wise.
Another issue.
Let's see. Wait. Not a directory. Yes, because it's a different folder, a different function. So let's collapse the terminal again. You see how this function is called read dir sync. Remove dir and put file. Read file sync. We're not reading a directory. We're reading a file. Yes.
Maybe here as well.
No, that's good. We're reading a directory there because we're listing all the markdowns. So that's good.
I haven't been able to follow that. Okay, so I think the server.
It should work now. Let's try again. Stop it and start and try again.
Yes. No.
Different error. Let's see. Scroll up. It says read file sync is not a function. So maybe the word file has to start with a capital F.
Oh, yes. That totally makes sense. Well, but indeed it's not, eh?
Yeah, whatever. That's JavaScript, man. It's inconsistent.
Okay, let's try. Oh!
What?
It worked.
How do you know?
Because I have another screen in which this suddenly became white.
Yeah.
I'm happy now. Thank you very much,
my friend. So that's it.
That's it.
That's how we end the workshop. So, but by the way, we don't have time, but you have a little mess right there because you have 2 folders for blogs. So you should remove the other one now that you.
It's working.
Yeah. But now that you have the blog folder working, so remove the other one that you had, like the posts. You have like another one that's called posts.
Yes, I know it is
open source. SRC.
Here.
Maybe that one posts on the app.
It is this one.
No. Wait. That's not it. It has an index.js. That's not the one.
No, but this is something.
Okay.
This one.
And then what about the other one? Pages blog. Oh no, that's fine. That's good. Yeah.
This is still working, so we were right.
Okay, great. So that's great.
Okay.
Now you're missing an index, right? You're missing an index, but you can watch the recording to create.
Yeah, don't worry for that. It's not important for everybody to watch that again.
Okay, man. Well, great. Thank you for coming, and see you later.
See you. Thank you.